we want to do, these are the steps. We have a resource person, brief history of the topic, what are the challenges that we face. I do feel like a lot of us, several of us, might have something to add in terms of the challenges that we face. I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to start with Janet, but then maybe if three people could say these are the challenges that we face, we can also help our person here. So I'll take it to Janet. Just say your name before you speak. What are the challenges that we face?
My name is Janet, and I'm with the Second Harvest Food Banker Program of the Community Action Committee of the Lehigh Valley. I'm going to go back into history a little bit so that you can see the growth of the problem. In the 1970s, we had nearly eradicated hunger in the United States. It was not an issue the way it is today. Unfortunately, subsequent administrations in Washington changed some of the programs, cut back on funding and that sort of thing, and we started to see hungry people. The first food bank in the world, I think, certainly in this country, was started in Phoenix, Arizona. It's called Mary's something. St. Mary's Kitchen, I think it is. But that first food bank spawned a lot of other food banks around the country. And today there are about 200 food banks like Second Harvest Food Bank around the country. In 1982, the Community Action Committee of Lehigh Valley recognized a problem and decided to start what was then called the Lehigh Valley Food Bank. I joined in 1983. In that first year, we had 15 member agencies. We counted poundage out the door in the thousands, not in the millions, not even close. And most of the pantries were seeing a handful of folks. I was involved as a volunteer at that time with the Allentown Area Ecumenical Food Bank. We might see 7 to 10 to 15 families a day. And 15 was probably a lot. And we thought, well, we'll have this here for people who are burned out or having some other calamity, and we probably won't be needed very long. Allentown Ecumenical is now serving people every day, 5 days a week. They limit themselves to 50 families because that's what they can handle. They could serve more if they did not limit themselves that way. And many pantries are when they serve, people are serving 100 families whenever they're open. So today, how many years later, we are now in a position of 7 million pounds out the door last year. We're seeing, as I said, 70,000 people in a month from a 6-county area. Originally, we were in a 2-county area. We're now in a 6-county area, although Lehigh and Northampton continue to be our biggest areas. And we have 200 member agencies. Not all of them are what we call emergency network agencies. They might be child care centers or rehabilitation places, but half or more are in the emergency category of emergency food pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters. And most of that 7 million pounds is going to Lehigh and Northampton counties. That's not to say we don't serve the other counties, but most of our poundage is going out to the Lehigh and Northampton counties. We have developed since that time 2 additional programs. One is called Backpack Buddies. There's also a Backpack Pals, separate from us, but in Easton. But ours is in several schools in Allentown and Bethlehem, and we provide food for children to take home on the weekend. Because we discovered last year when we had all that terrible snow, schools were shut down for a week. And children were begging the schools to open because they needed the school meal, the school breakfast and the school lunch. So we were very happy that we had our Backpack Buddies program going. We'd love to expand it if we had the funds available to do that. And then the other program that we have is called Cooking Matters. And we teach people, it can be children, teens, teen mothers, teen fathers, other adults, households, families, whatever, in a variety of locations. We don't need to have a fully equipped kitchen in order to do the program. And we teach people how to cook the foods that they might get at the food pantries. And we also instruct them on shopping. We take them on a shopping tour. so they can see how to buy more food. In the earliest days of food banking, we were mostly dealing with packaged product. We used to say, well, one of the reasons you have a food bank is to eliminate waste. We still say that, but one of the things we used to say about it was you might have a cereal package that had a coupon that was expired, and that's why the company donated the cereal. So that was the basis of our product flow. Today, we are expanding all the time into more frozen and especially into fresh produce as we are make it available. We have a proposal right now that will be going to the legislature in Harrisburg shortly for funding to provide money for all the food banks in the state of Pennsylvania to buy fresh produce and get it out to folks. So we're really excited about that. I think that's the basis. Some of you might want to add something to that, but that is the basics of food banking that has expanded enormously, and especially in this last recession, the numbers just shot up at all the pantries. Okay.
I'm noticing just through self-selection, who's at the table. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 organizations that are doing emergencies.
Yeah, member agencies. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The challenges facing us have to do with what we're all hearing about all the time, which is the widening gap, getting worse every day, between people who have a lot of money, the 1%, and the rest of us. 50%, 1% of the people, the rich people in the world control as much as 50% of the rest of the world. That's a new Oxfam statistic. And if nothing changes within a very short time, 1% will control the same as 99% of the rest of the world. The gap is extraordinary, and it makes it very difficult for us to solve the problem of either poverty or hunger. The other challenges we have to do with things like raising the minimum wage. I'm very involved right now in an effort in Pennsylvania to raise the minimum wage from $7.25 to $10.10 an hour with a built-in COLA escalation. Where there's a rally on February 9th, by the way, if you're interested. See me for those details. And then the third thing that I guess the third and fourth things. One is that the jobs that are available right now are either part-time or low wage. An awful lot of them are. Or they're outside the urban area and people can't get to them. So there's another challenge for us. How do people earn a living so that they don't have to rely on the pantries? And then finally, our big effort is shortening the line. How do we shorten the line? That's the question of the day. How do we shorten the line at the pantries and the soup kitchens? And I was very interested to find that yesterday I was on a conference call with folks from Feeding America. Feeding America which is the national organization of food banks, has primarily been interested in how many pounds out the door, how many people are we feeding. They have realized, and their board has accepted a challenge to shorten the line. Making sure people are food secure in every way that they can be, and not just because they can go to a pantry and get food. And that's an exciting development from Feeding America. So that's a national effort. I think that's it. Anybody can add a challenge to what I've said.
I'm Mary Ann Height-Manick from Northampton Community College, and absolutely am in agreement with all that Janet talked about. One of the things that we find at the community college, and I know this to be true nationally, Northampton was part of a 2-year initiative where involved with 7 community colleges across the country, where we made a strict effort to reach out to our low-income students. Of those 7 schools, and they ranged from schools in California to Ohio to Kentucky to Michigan to New York, every single one of us found that it was food stamps, SNAP, which was the thing that most of our students who were applying for benefits, that's what they needed. If you add that to, and here's where the challenge comes in, part of the message that we all used was, if we get our students benefits, whether it's SNAP, whether it's cash, whether it's LIHEAP or any of those, but again, SNAP was the most regular one, those students, once they get their training, are going to be able to never have to depend on benefits again. They'll be out there. They'll be getting better jobs, because we know from the statistics that the more education you have, the more likely you are to make better money. So that's the challenge. The challenge is continuing those efforts. And by the way, these efforts were funded by national foundations like Ford, Lumina, Kresge. So it wasn't just somebody with a good idea. These are some of the national big foundations are beginning to see the importance of this work in order to get people in education. Add that to now the president's proposal that community college be free. We begin to look at that. So we're working very closely with all of our partners in that to make that continue to happen. Just the other work that I do at the college is with non-credit students, and it tends to be families who are low income, who are just trying to figure out how to get back to school. And their challenges tend to be that if they have SNAP, it doesn't last through the whole month. So that's when they end up at pantries. That's when they end up at going to soup kitchens and that sort of thing. So the more people we can get away from SNAP, I'd rather see that than ask for increases in the funding. But if we have to ask for the increases in funding, then we need that. So those are some of the challenges that I see.
So yeah, we talked about hunger. The issue of hunger, and also, so yes, part of the answer is more fresh, nutritious food to more people. So that's community gardens, that's mobile markets. We have a number of emergency food services represented at our table, and we talked about that for about 5 minutes, and then we moved on to community education and advocacy. We really feel like anything that is a long-term solution that addresses issues of poverty, that addresses the wealth and income gap. Raising the minimum wage is an example. We actually have representatives at the table who have been advocates for that, so that's a really real solution. I think I'll leave it at that, other than to say that not only is food the issue, but also any wraparound case management related issues attached to food. So you're not just hungry, you're other things as well.
So what's the one thing you're going to do in the next 12 months? See a theme here? One thing.
Pass a law.
Pass a law is the law.
What do you want to say?
The minimum wage.
Yeah, raising the minimum wage.
Thank you.